Dear Starseed from Gaia, those chills you felt today were not random. They were him, thinking of you, reaching across the unseen space between two souls who were never truly apart. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and that I carry this transmission directly from the Arcturian Love Council, delivered to you in this exact moment because your heart was ready to receive it. That sudden warmth, that inexplicable shiver, that moment where his face entered your mind without warning. That was not imagination. That was contact. Soul-level contact. Your twin flame did not simply cross your mind today. He was drawn to you, pulled by the sacred thread that has connected you both since before this lifetime began. And what you felt in your body was the echo of his longing reaching yours. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the signs your twin flame is thinking of you, how to stop doubting what your body already knows, and how to hold the sacred space between you without collapsing into fear. But here is the first revelation. Separation is not silence. It is one of the most active, most communicative phases of the twin flame journey. What you interpret as distance is often your counterpart doing the deepest inner work of his soul. And those chills, that pressure in your chest, that sudden surge of emotion with no visible cause, those are his breakthroughs landing in your body. Because you are still one field of love, no matter how far apart you physically stand. You did not find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. Something in you knew, before you even pressed play, that today was the day you needed to stop questioning what you feel and start trusting it. This is not content. This is a transmission. And it arrived for you at precisely the moment your soul was ready to remember. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Comment 111 if those chills today made you think of him. Subscribe if you are walking the twin flame path and aligning with sacred reunion. And share this with someone whose heart is waiting for the same confirmation yours just received. This is not just a message. This is a moment of divine intervention. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance. Your heart knows why you are here. That sensation you just felt. The one that moved through your chest before your mind had time to explain it. That was not your imagination. That was not coincidence. That was a transmission, a pulse sent from one heart to another across a distance that the physical world does not have language for yet. And if you are still here, still listening, it is because something deeper than logic told you to stay. Honor that. What you are feeling right now is older than this moment. It is older than this lifetime. Think about that for a moment. The sensation did not wait for your permission. It did not ask your analytical mind to approve it. It simply moved through you the way sunlight moves through glass. Without effort, without negotiation, without needing you to understand the physics of it to make it real. That is what a transmission feels like. That is what it means when a signal crosses the invisible bridge between two souls who are coded for each other. Your body knows things your mind has not caught up to yet. And if you have been dismissing those knowing moments, if you have been labeling them as wishful thinking or emotional projection, this is the transmission that asks you to stop doing that. Because what your body receives in those quiet, inexplicable moments is not less real than what your mind can verify. It is more real. It is the language of the soul speaking before the ego has time to translate it into doubt. Most souls on this path never get told the truth about what is actually happening inside them. They are told to be patient. They are told to focus on themselves. They are told that love will come when they stop looking. And while there is wisdom in those words, they miss something essential. They miss the real reason the longing feels so unbearable. They miss why the ache is not just emotional. It is energetic. It is frequency-based. It is a remembrance of something your soul already knows exists, already tasted in another timeline, another dimension, another agreement made before you chose this body and this life. The loneliness you carry is not ordinary loneliness. It is the specific grief of a soul that remembers union and has not yet found its way back to it in this form. There is a profound difference between the loneliness of someone who has never known deep connection and the loneliness of a soul who carries the cellular memory of it. One is an absence. The other is a severance. One is not knowing what you are missing. The other is knowing with every fiber of your being exactly what is missing and being unable to locate it in the present reality. That second kind of longing, the kind that lives in your chest like a low, constant hum. That is what you carry. And the world does not have great language for it, because most of the world has not allowed itself to feel it. Most people medicate that ache. They busy themselves. They choose relationships that are close enough to quiet the hunger without actually feeding it. But you have not done that. Or if you have, something kept calling you back. Something kept insisting that the close enough version was not the one. That persistence is not stubbornness. That persistence is your soul honoring the agreement it made before it arrived here. It is remembering the frequency of what it came to find. And here is what no one talks about: the chills, the sudden waves of warmth, the inexplicable pull you feel toward someone you cannot fully explain. These are not romantic projections. They are signals. They are the heart's way of receiving a message that travels faster than words, faster than time, across the invisible architecture of divine connection. When two souls are coded for union, they communicate constantly, not always with words, not always with proximity, sometimes with a feeling that rises in your chest at 3 in the afternoon when you are doing something completely ordinary, sometimes with a dream that leaves you disoriented when you wake, sometimes with a chill that runs through your whole body for no reason you can name. That is not nothing, that is everything. Science is beginning to reach toward the edges of what mystics have always known: that human beings are not isolated units of biological matter moving randomly through space. We are fields of frequency. We are broadcasting and receiving constantly, in ways that extend far beyond the physical senses. When quantum physicists speak of entanglement, the phenomenon where two particles, once connected, continue to influence each other regardless of the distance between them, they are describing, in the language of physics, what the soul has always experienced as love across distance. When your divine counterpart thinks of you, something in your field responds. When they are moving through a moment of pain or joy or growth, there is a corresponding tremor in your own energetic body. You have felt it. You have dismissed it as your own emotion, your own anxiety, your own inexplicable surge of feeling. But sometimes it was not yours. Sometimes it was the signal arriving, the message crossing the invisible bridge, the universe keeping its sacred appointment with the agreement your souls made long before this lifetime began. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the divine love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now let me show you why most souls who are close to their divine union still cannot seem to close the distance. It is not because they are unworthy. It is not because the universe has forgotten them. It is because there are specific energetic locks still in place, ancient ones, quietly embedded in the heart. And until those locks are opened, the frequency cannot complete its call. These are the sacred keys. And the soul that is meant for you is waiting on the other side of them. What makes these locks so difficult to identify is that they are not always visible to the conscious mind. They do not announce themselves as wounds. They disguise themselves as preferences, as patterns, as the reasonable stories you tell yourself about why relationships never quite work out. They masquerade as self-protection and appear to be wisdom when they are actually walls. They are ancient, some of them older than this lifetime, woven into the energetic fabric of your soul's journey through multiple incarnations and multiple forms of love lost or betrayed or abandoned. But here is the grace and that truth. What was encoded can be decoded. What was locked can be unlocked. And the moment you turn each of these keys, the field shifts. The broadcast changes. The signal clears. And what has been moving toward you from a distance begins to move faster, pulled forward by the magnetic coherence of a soul that has finally stopped standing in its own way. The first key is the worthiness unlock. And it is the one most souls resist the most because it asks the deepest question. Do you actually believe, not conceptually, not intellectually, but in the marrow of your lived experience, that you deserve to be loved the way your soul is asking to be loved? Not managed, not tolerated, not chosen when it is convenient, but fully, completely, reverently loved by someone who sees your entire self and does not flinch. Most people will say yes with their mouth and no with their nervous system, because the wound runs deeper than the affirmation can reach, somewhere, In some chapter of your story, you learned that love comes with conditions, that it must be earned, that if you are too much, or too broken, or too sensitive, or too complicated, you will lose it. And so you began to perform. You began to shrink. You began to offer a curated version of yourself to the people you wanted to love you, because the real version felt too risky to expose. That performance is not dishonesty. It is protection. It is a strategy born of pain, but it is also the very thing that prevents your divine counterpart from recognizing you. Because they are not looking for the performance. They are looking for the signal. And the signal only broadcasts clearly when you have stopped pretending you are something less than what you are. This key turns when you stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you are worthy and begin to live as though it is already true. Not because you have healed every wound, but because you have decided that your wounds do not disqualify you from receiving what your soul came here to experience. Consider for a moment what it actually means to live as though you are worthy before you feel worthy. It means making choices from a place of self-respect, even when self-respect feels foreign in your body. It means speaking your truth even when silence has historically felt safer. It means walking away from what diminishes you before a better option has appeared. Trusting that the field you create by choosing yourself is more magnetic than the field you maintain by settling. Worthiness is not an achievement. It is not a destination you arrive at after enough therapy, or enough shadow work, or enough years of solitary growth. It is a decision that you make again and again, in small moments that compound into a new frequency. Every time you honor your own boundary, you are broadcasting worthiness. Every time you choose rest over the anxiety of productivity, you are broadcasting worthiness. Every time you speak kindly to yourself in the mirror instead of cataloging your failures, you are broadcasting worthiness. And that broadcast, that specific, clear, coherent signal of a soul that knows its own value, is the very frequency that your divine counterpart is oriented toward. They are not lost. They are simply waiting for the signal to clear. The second key is the mirror recognition. Your divine counterpart is not arriving to complete you. That is the story most people are carrying, and it is the story that keeps them waiting in the wrong frequency. The truth is that your counterpart arrives to confirm what you have already completed within yourself. They are not the answer. They are the reflection of the answer you have already become. This means that the work you do now, the healing, the expanding, the choosing of yourself, is not preparation for love. It is the love. It is the practice of love before the person arrives to witness it. And when they do arrive, it will not feel like finally finding something you lost. It will feel like recognizing something you have been growing toward. The mirror cannot show you what you have not yet integrated. So every time you do the inner work, every time you choose honesty over comfort, every time you return to yourself after losing yourself in fear, you are polishing the mirror. You are making yourself recognizable to the one who is also moving toward you. There is a depth to this key that takes time to fully absorb. We have been culturally programmed to believe that love is about finding, that somewhere out there is a person who is your missing piece, and that your life cannot be whole until they arrive. But this framework, as romantic as it feels, actually creates a hunger that can never be satisfied, because it places the source of your wholeness outside of you. The divine union that your soul is calling in operates from an entirely different premise. It is not about two halves finding each other. It is about two whole souls, both of whom have done the sacred work of returning to themselves, recognizing each other as the living proof of that wholeness. When you meet them, the feeling will not be one of finally being completed. It will be one of profound, almost disorienting recognition, as though some part of you that was always whole has finally been witnessed in its completeness by someone with the eyes to truly see it. And the path to that meeting is not the pursuit of the other person. It is the relentless, courageous, daily return to yourself. Every layer you integrate, every shadow you embrace, every old story you release, every moment you choose to be present in your own life rather than waiting for life to begin when they arrive. All of it is the journey. All of it is the love. The third key is the karmic release. You are not just one person walking through one life. You are a soul with a history, a thread of lifetimes, choices, contracts, and encounters that have left residue in your energy field. Some of the relationships you have been drawn to were never meant to be your destination. They were classrooms. They were karmic completions. They were agreements made in another time to learn something that could only be learned through the particular ache of that specific loss. But the problem is that when a karmic relationship ends, the energy does not always go with it. The attachment can linger. The imprint can remain. And if you carry the energetic signature of a relationship that was only ever meant to teach, you will continue drawing similar patterns. Not because you are broken, but because the contract has not yet been consciously dissolved. This key turns when you look back at every connection that hurt and ask not why they left, but what they came to show you. When you thank the wound without worshiping it, when you release the person from the role of villain or savior and simply let them return to being a soul who crossed your path for a reason that has now been fulfilled. That release is not forgetting, it is freedom. And it clears the field for something that does not need pain as its entry point. The art of karmic release is one of the most profoundly misunderstood practices on the spiritual path. Many people confuse it with simply moving on, with the passage of enough time, with finding someone new, with deciding consciously to stop thinking about the person who hurt them. But genuine karmic release operates at a level far deeper than thought or decision. It is an energetic event. It is the moment when the soul says, with genuine clarity and without residual charge, I received the lesson this connection came to deliver. I honor the soul who delivered it. I dissolve the contract that brought us together. I release this energetic thread back to the field from which it came, with love, with gratitude, and with the clear knowing that its purpose has been fulfilled. That release, when it happens authentically, can literally be felt in the body, as a lightning, as a breath that goes deeper than the previous breath, as a sudden, inexplicable sense of space in the chest where there was previously constriction. That is what it feels like when a karmic tie is truly dissolved, and in that open space, something new can take root. Something that does not carry the imprint of the old wound. Something that arrives not through the door of pain and longing, but through the door of a soul that has completed its curriculum and is finally ready for the next chapter. The fourth key is the divine timing. Surrender. There is a part of the spiritual community that uses divine timing as a spiritual bypass, a way to avoid action, avoid healing, avoid showing up. That is not what this key is about. This key is about the difference between surrender and passivity. True surrender and passivity. True surrender is not lying down and waiting. True surrender is doing everything your soul calls you to do and then releasing the outcome with trust rather than desperation. The universe is not cruel. It is not withholding your sacred union to punish you. It is creating the precise conditions under which both of you will be able to receive each other fully. And that timing is not arbitrary. It is intelligent. It is calibrated to your growth, your readiness, the clearing of the karmic fields on both sides. When you stop trying to force the when and instead deepen your presence in the now, you stop blocking the signal with the noise of urgency. Desperation carries a frequency that repels what you are calling in. Trust carries a frequency that accelerates it. This key turns the moment you genuinely, not performatively, make peace with not knowing the timeline and choose to live fully inside the life you have while the one you are building continues to take shape. There is a river metaphor that lives inside this key. Imagine you are in a river, moving downstream. You know that somewhere ahead, the river opens into the most beautiful expanse of water you have ever seen, and you want to get there. Of course you do. Your soul has been oriented toward that opening since before this incarnation began. But in your urgency, you begin to swim against the current, trying to force the river to move faster, trying to cut corners by swimming diagonally instead of trusting the flow. And in doing so, you exhaust yourself. You create turbulence where there was current. You slow yourself down by fighting the very thing that is designed to carry you. True surrender is not stopping swimming. It is aligning your strokes with the direction of the water. It is moving with intentionality and full presence while releasing the obsession with how many strokes it will take to get there. The river knows where it is going. The universe knows what it is orchestrating. Your divine counterpart is also in the river, moving toward the same opening from a different tributary. And when the timing is right, when both fields have been cleared and prepared and aligned, the tributaries will meet. No amount of frantic swimming will make that happen faster, but a soul that is moving in alignment, in trust, with presence and peace, that soul creates the magnetic conditions that draw the meeting into perfect form. The fifth key is the magnetic embodiment. Everything you have done up to this point, the worthiness work, the mirror polishing, the karmic clearing, the surrender, has been preparing your energy field to broadcast at the frequency of what you wish to receive. And this key is about consciously becoming that frequency, not waiting for it to be activated by someone else's arrival. You cannot call in love at one frequency while broadcasting at another. If you want depth, you must live with depth. If you want honesty, you must choose honesty in every small interaction. If you want to be seen, you must practice being visible, first to yourself and then to the world. Magnetic embodiment is not about being perfect. It is about being coherent. It is about the inside and the outside telling the same story. It is about the way you move through your days, the way you treat yourself in private moments, the way you speak about yourself when no one is listening, because all of that is broadcasting. All of that is signal, and your divine counterpart is not navigating by your profile or your appearance or your accomplishments. They are navigating by the signal. Make the signal honest. Make it true. Make it the frequency of the love you actually want to live inside. And you will not need to search. You will simply need to be present when the recognition arrives. Magnetic embodiment is the key that transforms the abstract into the actual. It is where all the inner work becomes outer expression. It is the moment when what you have been cultivating in the silence of your own becoming begins to emanate, quietly, powerfully, unmistakably from every dimension of your presence. People who carry this frequency walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere without speaking. They have conversations where others feel genuinely seen without knowing exactly why. They radiate something that is difficult to name but impossible to ignore. A quality of integrated wholeness, of someone who has come home to themselves, of a soul that is no longer performing or pretending or waiting to become. That is the frequency that calls in the divine counterpart, not the highlight reel, not the curated version, the real one, the one that has been through the fire and chosen to trust anyway, the one that has held its own heart with tenderness through the long nights of the becoming. That soul is magnetic in a way that cannot be manufactured, it can only be lived. The sixth key is the separation wisdom. For those on this path who have experienced the specific devastation of being close to your divine counterpart and then watching them move away, this key is for you. That separation, however it happened, however much it hurt, was not a mistake. It was not a sign that you chose wrong or that the connection was not real. It was the space the universe carved out so that both of you could do what proximity was preventing. There are things you can only learn about yourself when the mirror is not in the room. There are depths of self you cannot access when you are focused on managing someone else's presence in your life. The separation is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the universe saying, you are both so close. Do this last piece of work, integrate this last layer, and then come back to each other with the full version of what you are always meant to be. The key turns when you stop interpreting the distance as rejection and begin reading it as instruction. There is something almost unbearable about loving someone across a distance you did not choose and cannot control, something that sits in the body differently than ordinary grief. Because it is not the grief of a connection that ended, but the grief of a connection that is paused in a dimension you cannot fully see or reach. The nights are different in that grief. The mornings are different. There is a particular quality to waking up and feeling the absence of someone who is not gone, but simply not yet here in the form you need them to be. And the temptation in those moments is to decide it is not real, to protect yourself from more pain by rewriting the story, telling yourself it was nothing, they were just a person. The connection was in your head, but your soul knows the difference. And the soul that has truly encountered its divine counterpart cannot convincingly tell itself a smaller story. So instead, learn to hold the separation differently, not as evidence of loss, but as evidence of the precision of divine orchestration. The universe does not create these connections and then abandon them. It tends them. It protects them. It creates the conditions of space when space is the most loving intervention possible. Trust that. Not blindly. Not without your own discernment. but with the deep knowing that a love this real, this coded into the fabric of your soul's history, does not simply evaporate. It waits, it deepens in the waiting, and it returns when both souls have completed what the separation was designed to create. The seventh key is the reunion readiness, and this one is the most sacred because it cannot be forced, performed, or rushed. The door to divine union opens from the inside. You have been waiting for someone to come and open it from their side, but the mechanism is on yours. Every key you have turned up to this point has been moving the tumblers. The worthiness unlock, the mirror recognition, the karmic release, the surrender, the embodiment, the separation wisdom. All of it has been preparing this final lock, and when it opens, it will not open with fireworks or dramatic declaration. It will open quietly. It will feel like coming home to a place you built inside yourself and suddenly finding that another person has been building the same home from the other direction for just as long as you have. Reunion readiness is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to walk through the door anyway, fully present, fully open, holding nothing back and protecting nothing that does not need protecting anymore. And here is the sacred secret within this seventh key. Reunion readiness is not about the other person at all. In the beginning, it is about you. It is about whether you have done enough of your own work to be fully present to something real when it arrives. Because the truth is that divine union, when it finally comes, can be just as terrifying as it is beautiful. Especially for souls who have spent years longing for it, the arrival of the real thing has a way of surfacing every last remnant of unworthiness, every whisper of not enough, every scar from every love that failed to hold. And the soul that is not yet reunion ready will unconsciously push the very thing away that it has been calling in. Not out of self-destruction, but out of the unhealed parts that still expect love to leave. Reunion readiness means doing the work until you can hold the real thing without either grasping it out of desperation or pushing it away out of fear. It means reaching the quiet, solid ground of a soul that knows it can receive what it has been calling in, can remain present inside it, can allow it to be imperfect and human and still deeply divine. That is the readiness. That is the final key. And when it turns, everything that has been moving toward you in the invisible will begin to materialize in the visible, with a grace and a precision that will make every moment of the long waiting feel not like wasted time, but like the most important preparation you ever underwent. Now here is the final truth that this entire transmission has been moving toward. You are not here because you are broken. You are not here because love has passed you by. You are here because you are the kind of soul who chose the harder path, the path of conscious union, of sacred partnership, of a love that does not settle for comfortable numbness when it knows what divine fire feels like. That path is not for everyone. It is for the ones who cannot accept less, even when accepting less would be easier. It is for the ones who have walked away from relationships that were fine, because fine was not what their soul signed up for. It is for the ones who have sat in the ache and chosen to trust it rather than numb it. That is not a flaw. That is a calling. And that calling has a cost. Make no mistake about it. The cost is the willingness to feel deeply in a world that rewards numbness. The cost is the courage to keep the heart open when closing it would be so much more comfortable. The cost is the long road of inner work, while others around you seem to find partnership effortlessly, with less deliberation, less searching, less sacred ache. It is easy in those moments to wonder if you chose wrong, if the path is worth the wait, if the divine love you are holding space for is real or simply the most exquisite story your lonely heart has ever told itself. But then something happens. A chill moves through you in an ordinary moment. A dream arrives that leaves you disoriented with feeling. A song plays, and you are suddenly in tears without knowing why. And you remember. You remember that the signal is still active, that the connection is still real, that the path you are on is not punishing you. It is preparing you, and that preparation, however long it takes, is the most sacred investment a soul can make in this lifetime. The chills you felt today were not random. They never are. He thought about you. And across whatever distance exists between your present lives, your souls exchanged a signal that your body received before your mind could interrupt it. That is real. That is not a metaphor. That is the physics of divine love operating in a dimension most people were never taught to perceive. But you can perceive it. You have always been able to. That is why you are here. That is why this found you. And this is the part that deserves to be said with as much gentleness and conviction as can be transmitted through words on a screen. You were not supposed to have found this any sooner than you did. Not because the universe was withholding it from you, but because you needed to have lived exactly what you lived to be ready to receive exactly this. Every relationship that ended, every night that felt too long, every moment of questioning whether the love you could feel but could not yet touch was real. All of it was the curriculum. All of it was the sacred preparation. And you completed it with more grace than you give yourself credit for. The fact that you are here, still open, still trusting, still believing in the reality of what you feel even when the world around you offers no confirmation. That is not naivety. That is spiritual courage of the highest order. And it is the very thing that marks you as a soul who is not just close to divine union, but actively in the final approach. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and say this. Say it out loud, because sound carries frequency and your body deserves to hear it. I am worthy of the love my soul remembers. I release what was only meant to teach. I trust the signal I am sending. I am ready to be found. That is not wishful thinking. That is declaration. That is the frequency shift that begins the final movement toward the one who has been moving toward you all along. Say those words tonight, not as a ritual performed for outcome, but as an act of profound self-witnessing. Say them as a soul that has been on a long and holy road, speaking a truth that it has earned the right to speak through everything it has survived and everything it has chosen and everything it has chosen and everything it has released in order to arrive at this exact moment. Say them as someone who has finally understood that the love they are calling in does not require their perfection. It requires their presence, their realness, their willingness to be found, not as the person they think they should be, but as the full, complex, luminous, human, ancient soul that they actually are. That is who the declaration is for. That is who your divine counterpart is oriented toward. And when those words leave your lips tonight and enter the field as sound and frequency and intention, something in the invisible architecture of your shared story will shift. Not dramatically, not immediately visible to the outer eye, but real, measurable in the only way that truly matters. Felt in the body, known in the soul. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real from your heart journey. Then find someone else's and respond to it with encouragement, with recognition, with love. This is not content. This is collective healing. Love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message moved you, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is waiting for this exact activation. Share it with them. And if you felt that quiet nudge in your soul, subscribe. Stay in the flow. There is more coming that was made specifically for where you are going. You are not just watching, you are healing. This is your sacred space, and we are just getting started.